I'm Trisha and I'm with A1 Pet Emporium, and today I have Aundra Hedges with Stella and Chewy's with us today, and she's here to talk about their cat line. Hi Aundra, how are you?
Good, how you been doing?
Good, good. So I'm so glad to have you here with us today, and you know, most people know kind of a little bit about Stella and Chewy's, but they may not know that they sell cat food. So you want to tell us a little bit about Stella and Chewy's and kind of a little bit about their cat line?
Okay, so Stella and Chewy's has been around for 20 years. I think a lot of people don't realize that when you get into the kibble bags, that it's buy 6 bags, your 7th bag will be free, whether it's cat or dog.
Okay, that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's an 18% savings.
Right, exactly. That's awesome. Now,
then,
can they get that at any store, or is that only independents, or how does that work?
They need to be a red door store that you're going to really be able to find it. So if you get on there, you're going to be able to see A1 Pet Emporium is on that locator list to be able to know where to go.
Perfect.
You have 4 different locations, and so it's really nice because you're in all different parts of the town and you're able to find it really easily.
Yeah.
But Stella and Chewy's has really focused on trying to provide the best nutrition with organics and higher quality of meats. They do a lot of homework. It was Marie Moody, who's the one who started Stella and Chewy's. I always kind of think it's funny with her story, just because we all hear the same story. You know, somebody's dog got sick, and so they decided to start a company because they found out when they do a barf diet, it works.
Okay, so you want to explain what a barf diet is? Maybe not everybody knows what that terminology means.
So I'm going to cut it a little shorter and call it biologically appropriate, because that's pretty much what we're trying to talk about. Okay. Is that it's more digestible.
Okay, perfect.
So when you get into even fresh foods is raw foods. And especially with cats, what do we always think about with cats is they have to have a lot of protein. Protein has to be very high. Reading ingredients when you get into cats are very important, but also it is with dogs. So when you look at an animal and you think about how does their body work, so they have large stomachs, very short intestinal tracts. So what happens is when you're feeding foods that is very hard, very processed, then it's harder for them to break that down. Okay. So that's the reason why we do different types of things. That's the reason we originally started out with raw. When you do a lot of things that, you know, we all go to kibble. I don't know of anybody who doesn't just go to kibble. What is the biggest thing about animals when you get into cat section? They're picky.
Yes, I think we have had, you know, we have a lot of dog people that tell us that they're picky, but I do have to believe that our cat customers have some of the most pickiest animals on the planet. And so, yes, you know, if we can help those picky parents, maybe help them find something that their cat will eat and digest and do well on, I think that's what we're all here for. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about the different options we have with Stella and Chewy's cat product line, and maybe tell us what makes each one of them a little bit different and what makes them so good.
Okay, so when I had a cat that was sitting on my front porch and freezing to death because it was November, I live in Missouri, yeah, it gets really cold. I felt so sorry for it, I started feeding it. Okay. And then we got attached, even though he'd like to bite my legs, but we still got attached. And then all of a sudden I have a second one. And then all of a sudden I think I was up to like 5. And but what I found out, you know, you always hear people talking about cats and they're picky and yada yada. And I'm like, oh, this would be easy. I have everything. Well, okay. I found out. Okay. So I had one that would come up and it sounds horrible, but would just kind of puke on my step with all these colored, you know, kibble in it. Oh, wow. And then come and eat my food. And then he finally realized he didn't need to eat that other food. And that's what was happening. These cats were coming back freeze-dried. Think of a feral cat that won't let you get to more than 2 feet close to you, but would grab a freeze-dried bite out of your hand because he's used to eating what? Raw food. So he could taste it. So what makes it different is that with our kibble is that it is so tiny. And then on top of that, we add freeze-dried in there. So it gives it more palatability because you're taking that fresh food and then powder or coating this with the kibble. And so now, and these are so tiny and small, so easy for them to eat and digest.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I know, that
don't throw it out.
With a lot of our customers, you know, especially our cat customers, you know, tiny kibble is like the big thing for them.
Oh, it's
so
huge.
That's awesome. And I will tell you that when you open that bag, it was very fragrant.
Yes, it's very
and I'm not saying it's like bad fragrant. It's just very palatable.
Smelly.
Yeah,
it's smelly. Salmon.
So
you smell the food.
So you're definitely, your cat and your dogs are going to smell that and go, what's that? So.
Yeah, and you're looking around 70% of protein that you have into your kibble.
Now,
so it's very high in protein.
Now, how many different varieties of dry kibble do they currently carry?
They have, so the salmon, and I flip back and forth for all my cats. So I do a lot of the chicken because they love chicken. The salmon is wonderful. We now have a kitten, which is really great to start them out with. Duck, and so duck is really good. And then we have some that are blends.
Okay.
So what is a blend is when they take that kibble, they add a few, actually a whole, like a little bag. If it's a small bag, they're all putting in a small bag of
Oh,
bits.
wow. Okay.
And so now they're able to get some freeze-dried and have that kibble in there.
So you can actually buy them where they have the kibble included with the
Yes.
raw. Okay,
And
perfect.
it's called a blend.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Then when you get into the freeze-dried, this is 98% meat.
Wow.
So what is the other 2%? It's going to be fruits and veggies.
Okay.
And then you're going to have a vitamin pack. So always remember, freeze-dried starts as a raw product.
Right.
What they do is they pull that moisture out, so that's the reason why it becomes dry. But the other thing with Stella and Chewy's, I just want you to notice.
Oh wow, look how soft that is, and you
how
can break
soft
that.
it is.
That's incredible. I need to feel it.
So it's very high in palatability because of the protein. Breaks up very easy.
Oh, it has it's very,
yeah.
you can definitely smell the fragrance.
Yeah, you can
I think
smell
that's
it
the
in
duck,
there.
duck,
And
goose.
this one happens to be the duck, duck, goose.
Wow, that's really incredible.
So that's the reason why they love it. Now, you can use water on it because I always totally believe in moisture into the food. So if you add some moisture in there, it's going to break it back down into a raw factor.
Okay.
So now it absorbs throughout their body. So the difference is when you get into these type of items and frozen foods, then it's going to absorb through their body much quicker. They're going to get all the nutrients out of it. Their stools become smaller. They don't throw up anymore. They're not going to have those loose stools anymore when they really get into that raw side of it, that freeze-dried or the frozen, either way.
And we do sell frozen. We just don't have it out here with us at the moment, but we do carry the frozen line. So when you're talking about a frozen and a freeze-dried, they're basically the same product. The only difference is that, like she said, the moisture's been pulled out of the freeze-dried or out of the raw to make it freeze-dried. So when you do a freeze-dried, it's very important that you make sure your animals, whether it's a cat or a dog, gets the proper moisture that they need with that, because you've taken it basically out of their diet. So you want to definitely make sure that you get the moisture back in there, whether it be water. Another great way is with bone broth.
It is for dogs or cats. So this has squash, pumpkin, turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, and then it does have tapioca, but that's because it's a shelf-stable one. So you're able to shake it up. You're going to see it's thick and very gelatinous,
okay.
And you can pour that over there. Sometimes what I'll do is so that I can get this to last longer, because my dogs get either goat milk or this all the time.
Okay.
And so, I'm sorry I said my dogs.
That's okay, dogs and cats.
Yeah, dogs and cats. And then you pour it in there, and you can add a little water so it just gives it longer lasting for you. It helps with electrolytes with the animals.
Perfect.
But it is a dog or cat product.
So yeah, bone broth is excellent. I mean, I know even humans consume bone broth for healthy.
Helps with the gut. It
health
seals
properties.
and repairs the gut. It helps with inflammation. It will help with allergy issues, skin and coat issues. It helps mend and repair hip and joints.
Wow.
So
yeah.
even ones that has hip dysplasia, I just can't ever say enough about bone broth.
Okay, well, there you go. Okay, I think our last thing that we want to talk a little bit about is your
cans.
Your cans or your wet products. So I'm going to switch places with you a little bit.
So we do several different types of cans, you know, different flavors. As you know, there's different textures that cats like. And then this one is a shred.
Oh, wow, look at those big chunks.
So it's got chunks in there. I'm just going to use my fingers so you can kind of see what it looks like.
Here, lift it up so they can
kind of see what it looks like. There is a chicken and chicken liver that's really good. There's even a turkey and chicken one that they seem to really love. It's in a shred, but there's all different types. You can see here that this is a variety pack. And so this has got all the different shreds. So you've got 6 different flavors in here for those buffets that you have to do some days. And then they go down to 1 again. But there's so many different things you can do with the cans, but you're adding moisture, you're adding freeze-dried, you're adding kibble. That's the reason why they do get varieties with me, is because I want to make sure they get enough moisture. Reason behind moisture is that that's what causes all the issues with the urinary tract and them getting crystals. And if you get enough moisture into their body, then the less likeliness they're going to have those issues.
That's right. So any way you can get extra moisture in your cat's diet, you definitely want to do that, whether it's, you know, cans, because cans typically, whether it's a pate or a shred, you know, whatever it might be, is very moisture driven. So you definitely want to do whatever you can to get that extra moisture in your cat's diet. Okay, Aundra, anything else you kind of want to tell us today?
Oh, the biggest thing I will tell you with these feral cats that I have is that I have watched their skin and coat drastically change.
Wow. Okay.
And so they get shiny and silky. You would never, if you saw the pictures of these cats, you would never know they were feral.
Wow. Listen, you know, we really appreciate you taking the time to come visit with us
Thank
about,
you for talking about cats.
Yeah, your cat food, because I mean, you know, most people just assume their cats, you know, just kibbles and bits or whatever it might be or kitten and bits, I guess I should say, at the grocery store. But really, when you feed your cat better, they live longer, they're healthier, their coats are shinier, they have
shed less, they don't throw up.
There you go.
You don't have diarrhea.
So I think all of these are great reasons for you guys to come in and try out Stella and Chewy's. So yeah, we currently have 4 metro area locations in the Oklahoma City area. So we would love, love, love to have you come in and talk to us about Stella and Chewy's and see if we could be your local neighborhood store. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.